It's a little 80s flashback for you, rolling into the final segment of the Gallo show. Okay, Lance, did you just pull that out of your greatest hits playlist?
I can't take credit for that. I wish I could, though.
Okay. I'm with you. Good to be with you this morning as we wrap things up on the Gallo show. Richard Cross in for Paul. Paul will be back on Monday, I think. Is Paul back on Monday? Yeah, okay, good. We've got one last guest as we wrap up the conversation this morning for Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi. Sally Williams, the CAC Director at Healing Hearts Child Advocacy Center, and that location covers DeSoto County and Tate County?
Correct. We are in South Haven, Mississippi, and cover DeSoto and Tate counties. We also offer courtesy services for a lot of the surrounding counties, but our full-service counties are DeSoto and Tate counties. Great
to be with you. Thanks for making the effort to be here this morning. I've been thinking about this. There's so many layers to what we're talking about. And we're talking about child advocacy. So, okay, so there's the initial abuse, whatever it is, and then the law enforcement response, the immediate protective setup. We've talked about Sally Kate Winters in West Point. That's a place that we've been before. And then maybe the judicial process and the Justice Department being involved and, state agents being involved. But there also is a long-term care for kids going forward, and they can't always go back to the situation they were in. Sometimes they can, and certainly reunification matters. So what about the kids' long run?
Yeah, well, and that's where CAS comes into play, too. I know we're here talking about that. I'm going to be talking about the Child Advocacy Center as well. But that's why it's so important for this training to be done on the front end with these college students, with even high school students. But it does take a long-term effect with these children, and the more education and the better we are at being on the forefront of new initiatives and new things that combat child abuse and combat that traumatic effect that it leaves on a child and a family, the better we are prepared to take care of those children. Yeah. So in that respect, that's where that multidisciplinary team comes into play, having CAS students involved with whether you be law enforcement, judicial, nurses, teachers, social workers, where you all have to come together because, as we say all the time, it's not just one person. We can't do this just one person. We need a team of people. That's where that team comes in. That's where community comes in to ensure that that child is receiving the best possible services, both initially and ongoing. That takes that team. That takes a community. And to do that, you need these specialized services that child advocacy centers offer and that CAS students are learning about when they're going through this program.
So many of our cities in Mississippi that are doing well get positive press for economic development and, how great the town square is and how good the restaurants are. And a lot of times people might refer to that as kind of the front porch or kind of the facade to what's going on. But regardless of where you are, people love to pick on the Delta sometimes, but everywhere there are issues of poverty and abuse, and that's kind of the stuff that's in the backyard that nobody talks about. Tell me about the role the Child Advocacy Center plays. And I bring it up that way because DeSoto County's got so many things going for it.
Absolutely.
There's so much economic growth, but that doesn't mean that there's not tough stuff going on as well.
Correct. That doesn't mean that we are without child abuse there. So many people want to say, this doesn't happen here. I heard you talk about it earlier, the not in my backyard. This is not my backyard. This doesn't happen here. This is not... We're DeSoto County, or we're Harrison County, or we're Hines County, or wherever some of the largest counties that do have this economic growth. You think, does that really happen there? Absolutely. This happens everywhere. It knows no boundaries. It knows no economic class. It knows no social standard. Child abuse is among us every day, which is just another reason for this CAS program. Even if students or professionals don't end up going into a social work program or a program where they're going to deal with child abuse, you're going to see children. Yeah. You're going to see children in your daily lives, going to the grocery store, going to a gas station, wherever you are. And if you have that knowledge in the back of your head about how to notice the signs and symptoms of child abuse and then what to do. Yeah. So many people may notice it and they have no idea what to do at that point. So that's why it's so important to educate our communities, educate the people who work with us. You know, I thought to myself, why is this an important class? Why is it? Well, I took, science classes that were required in college. I know that putting baking soda and vinegar together make a volcano, but do I use that now on a daily basis? No, I don't. Well, same for this. I feel like these CAS classes, at least one, should be a required course for every individual coming through an Institute of Higher Learning.
I could make an argument that this is more valuable than algebra. But that's just me.
I don't want to make
just
any
me.
math professors mad, but I'm going to pretty much agree with you on that. So I think this is imperative. It's an imperative program that we get out, and, everybody needs to take part in it for sure.
Incredible work that is being done at Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi. You're going to continue to hear about this throughout the day. Gerard will be here from 10 until 1, Rebecca from 2 until 3, and then we'll wrap things up this afternoon on Sports Talk Mississippi from 3 until 6. Sally, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
To all of our guests, thanks for joining us. And to all of you, thanks for being with us on this Friday morning. I wish you a